Hello guys, welcome back to the vlog, or welcome if you're new. If you are new, my name's Hannah. I am here on YouTube to inspire and motivate other moms through fitness and healthy lifestyle, and I'm getting ready to head into the gym. I left off last week's vlog saying that I needed to do lower body. I need to do a combination lower body day. So today I'm going to take you guys along on my combination lower body day. So a mix of quads and hamstrings and glutes. So all the lower body things we're gonna hit today. I'm at Planet Fitness, so my equipment is a little bit limited, but I feel like a lot of people have access to like the kind of equipment that's here. Planet Fitness is pretty basic on the gym terms, so I feel like most people will have this. If you are working out at home, you're not gonna have some of this equipment. It's okay. You can just do dumbbell and body weight exercises, especially if you're just starting out your fitness journey. You can just do body weight exercises for most of these exercises. The one thing I will say is going to be a little bit difficult is like abduction stuff with the hips, like cable machine stuff. So I will show you guys some like variations as well, like some home variations that you can do, and I'll go home later and show you guys the variations that you can do at home. But yes, let's go hit lower body, glutes, hamstrings, and quads. I first want to start this off by saying I am not at all a professional. This is just what I do as a working mom of 2 kids, to stay active and try to get my body moving. I do have fitness goals and aesthetic goals, but honestly, fitness is just kind of my getaway, my little me time. So first, starting off with an active dynamic warm-up, that's important, especially if you are not the most mobile person day to day. Stretching is very important before you lift weights regardless, but if you're like sitting all day like I am, I'm a dental hygienist, I definitely want to get a good stretch and get my muscles kind of activated before I just hop into a workout. Dynamic stretching is a little bit different than static stretching. You can do static stretching at the end of your workouts, but at the beginning of your workout, you want to keep movement in your stretches. I definitely didn't know this early on in the journey, but it actually is more beneficial for your weight training session to move while you're stretching, kind of get blood flowing to your muscles. And then I do incorporate like a runner stretch, get a good glute activation going. I just try to get all the major lower body muscles activated and ready, primed for the workout. First thing we're going to do is start off with the Smith machine. Just starting out, don't be afraid of this thing. It is so much easier than a free weight barbell, and it is golden for a lot of these exercises I'm going to be showing you. First thing I'm showing you is hip thrust. This is how I set up for it. I try to make sure I put a plate by each of my feet so I know where to put my feet. You want to put your back all the way against the bench, then put the little plate where your knees are. Then do a couple without any weight. Go ahead and load up your barbell. I'm aiming for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps for each of these. Hip thrust, some people find it hard to get the sweet spot where you're hitting more glutes than quads or hamstrings. So my key is to put your feet out and angle them out, and then like I said, put that little plate by your knee so you know where to put your feet. You don't want to overextend at the top of the motion. You want to just kind of go up to where your glutes stop activating. And make sure you take adequate rests in between your sets. After I do 3 sets of hip thrust, I'm going into 3 sets of calf glute bridges. These are just like a hip thrust, only you only do the top half of the movement. I've talked before about progressive overload, especially for your compound movements, and that's really important, but it's also really important to make sure you are putting enough weight that you are struggling to get up the last couple reps. You want to make sure that you are giving it all you got. And then I'm going into some RDLs. I am using straps for these. This is another compound that I'm progressively overloading, so I structured at the beginning of my workout. I do like RDLs for glute and hamstrings. It's one of my main ones that I do. And I have had to lower my weight recently because I got a lower back injury a couple weeks ago. So I'm just kind of taking it slow, working my way back up. So I was at like 10 pounds on each side a couple weeks ago. So this is better than it was. But straight into some step ups. I do superset these with lunges. That's another way to progressively overload, is making sure you kind of go right from one exercise into the other. I like to do this with unilateral movements. Step ups is one of my favorite ones for glute activation. You want to barely touch your toe at the bottom, like barely. That's the key. And make sure you get a good glute stretch, kind of step back, especially if your bench isn't high enough, into lunges, supersetting with your step ups. One of my favorite glute burners. It's awesome for the glutes. You do get a little bit of quad with this. I elevate my foot as well, so great glute stretch. You can do the RDLs and the lunges and everything with a dumbbell if you prefer. I just prefer a barbell because I feel like I can lift heavier if I have it on my shoulders than having to worry about my grip strength giving out. I just prefer it that way. Into calf raises, really burning out my calves. I kind of threw a little isolation in there before I went on to squats because I needed my heart rate to calm down a little bit before I went into squats. Into some squats. I don't squat very heavy. I'm not the best squatter. I've never been, and I don't think I ever will be, but I'm trying my best. Straight into some 45-degree hyperextensions. This is a great exercise for your upper glutes and your lower back. I start by adjusting the pad because I'm a little bit taller than most people. You want the pad at about your hip bone height so you can really push into the pad. That's the main key. That keep your legs about shoulder width apart, your toes pointed out. You'll get a great glute activation. Into some hip abduction. These are some of my favorites. So I start off by kind of having my foot at the very closest peg to me and my knees at a 90-degree angle, doing about 10 reps with that. And then I put my foot all the way out. I'm barely putting any weight in my heels and I'm pushing mainly with my knees out in like a half circle. And oh, does it burn the glutes out. You want to do 2 sets of each of those. Then on to some glute medius kickbacks, another one of my favorites. I got these little bands for my cable machine kickbacks off of Amazon, I believe. Highly, highly recommend. Ever since I got them and I've implemented these a lot more in my workouts, I've been seeing amazing upper glute growth. So I definitely think that glute medius kickbacks are the key for the glute medius. I haven't seen any other exercise yield the same results. Into some at-home exercises. I'm just showing you guys how I set up for hip thrusts at home. Again, use the bench. If you can, use a bench, a chair, anything to elevate you off the floor. I prefer this over glute bridges. I think if you elevate your back, you just get a better connection in your hamstrings and your glutes, but I kind of put the weights in a T formation. Put a towel down, put them in a T, and then that's how I do hip thrusts at home. I do load them heavy, but obviously you can't load them as heavy as you can at the gym. Unless you have a barbell and some plates or one of those little straps that can hook onto your dumbbells at your sides and you can put it over your belly. I don't really see a better way to do it. If you guys have any other tips, let me know. But yeah, then into some glute bridges. Again, I don't like them as much as hip thrusts for glute activation in the shortened position, but I will do them in replacement of cast glute bridges. I apologize in advance for how bad my shorts are like riding up and not looking flattering on me at all. But into some RDLs. For RDLs with dumbbells, I kind of put the dumbbells off to my side. I find it a little bit more stable, and I also put my feet a little bit more together than if I'm doing it with a barbell. Also, doing step ups. I do not like to do these at home. I just don't have the best way to do it, and I don't find I get as good of a connection because I don't have something sturdy to hold on to or step on, but working with what we got. Into some lunges, you can do them like this with just one dumbbell, or you can also like do a dumbbell and a kettlebell like this. However you guys want to do it. You can also do body weight if that's the stage you're in. I definitely started out with body weight when I was getting back into working out. And this is how I do squats at home. If you want, you can also put the dumbbells on your shoulders. That will also work, or you can hold them off by your sides. I think 45-degree hypers are hard to do without a Roman chair, but you can do seated good mornings as kind of a replacement because this does work the upper glutes and the lower back as well. Same kind of muscle group that 45-degree hyperextensions do. So this is a good replacement for those. Forgot to say how many of these I do, but I try to aim for 3 sets of 10 for 45-degree hypers and those seated good mornings. Went to some abduction things. Like I said, it's kind of hard without certain machines to work abduction, but this is just some lateral leg lifts. I just use a booty band and a dumbbell to kind of put some weight on it. You can also use an ankle weight or a resistance band. And these are clamshells. You just kind of put your feet together and lift your legs apart. Alrighty guys, so there is some of my favorite glute growing exercises and some of the variations that you can do to make them at home exercises. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check back next week. I'm uploading every week, so check back if you like this kind of content. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that way you get notified whenever I upload. But I'll see you guys next Tuesday.